Hey, this is Sarah from Yowie Central Podcast, and you're listening to the Bigfoot Club podcast. Cryptid sports entertainment for life.
Hey everybody, Bigfoot Club, Bigfoot Bob. I'm here with my nephew, Skookum Steven. Skookum Steven, say what's up.
What's up?
It is the Ocho, and this is episode 6.
Is it really?
It is episode 6.
Wow.
Are you excited? Are you okay?
Yes, I am excited.
Are you okay though?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm happy to be here. You don't have to sound so concerned.
Oh yeah, sorry.
It's Friday. I'm happy.
Yeah.
So I can't
The
complain.
boys are fed,
The boys are fed. They're happy and they're in their room playing Switch.
and your wife is fed.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
good deal.
So she's watching the NASA splash thing.
Okay, good deal.
So yep.
So today I am super excited. I have a guest today. I got it from Matthew Reginald Bartholomew Nappers with Bigfoot Crossroads. He's a good friend of Michelle Heaton out of Oregon. Michelle, welcome to the club.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much. I'm honored.
Yay.
No problem. Anybody that's a friend of Matt's is a friend of ours.
Yes.
So
No, I've noticed that Matt he's such a great guy and he has really great friends.
Well,
yeah,
I don't want to brag.
yeah. Yeah, we used to live in Tulsa with him, and we used to be at his house every day.
Yep.
And he would always feed us chili, and we'd go to Daylight Donuts.
Man, we struggled.
Yeah,
We struggled that time, but hey, we
helped
didn't
us
struggle.
out. Yeah,
No.
he helped us out a lot.
Yeah, he did.
He's such a good person,
Yes.
and
Aw.
and we can't think enough of him. He's such a great person.
Yes.
But
Hmm.
but I noticed that you were on his show, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah,
it-
I was.
And then I asked him. I said, "Hey, man, do you mind if I ask Michelle to be?" Because I usually try to ask him that. I don't try to poach his guests at all.
You don't
so-
try to swoop people from
No,
them. Yeah.
no.
He said, hell no. Is that what he said?
No,
Oh,
no. He
threw chili at us.
He thought pretty highly of you, Michelle. So
Oh, that's so sweet. That just makes my heart melt. Yeah. I think very highly of Matt as well. So yeah. Yep. And all of his friends that I've been talking to. You guys just a really good group of guys, man.
yeah. We try to be, and he's because I met Matt early on. Like we almost kind of stomped on the same areas, and so I met him like in the early 2000s. And we met up in Texas somewhere, and we were ever since then we just became friends, and we just stayed in contact. And because go ahead. I'm sorry.
I heard from a little birdie that you guys might have been research partners. You guys did some Bigfooting together or something.
Yes, yeah, we did some stuff in Lamar County, Paris, Texas. So yeah, we collaborate on a lot of stuff, and so he's such a articulate, open-minded person. Because I think when I met him, I was pretty close-minded. I was a flesh and blood person all the way, and so he kind of opened my mind a little bit. And after I left the TBRC, I kind of got opened to think about like the woo and paranormal stuff and stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah,
But-
he's really good at that, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Opening and you know what I think it is? He's an Aquarius like me.
oh,
So
okay.
we're very analytical, but we're open.
Yeah.
Everything's on the table with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you get started?
Oh man. Well, it was 1978. I was 5 years old and I started. That's when I remember my first dream that I had about Sasquatch. And I had a reoccurring dream that lasted until I was 19.
Wow.
And then, it changed when I turned 19. My aunt took me to a psychic, and And she said, well, why don't you try doing this? And so I did that when I went to sleep. So I tried talking to the Sasquatch. And after I talked to him, then it kind of changed a little bit. And I kept having the dream, but it was different after that. It was the same dream, but it was different. So, yeah. And then just fast forward through my life, I ended up, eventually I ended up in Oregon. And I went from being like a hobbyist to a hardcore researcher.
Wow. If you don't mind me asking, what was this recurring dream? What do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah. So, well, I remember being in a house, and the house was really old, and I could tell it didn't have electricity or running water because there were oil lamps, and in the kitchen sink there was a hand pump for water, and it had a screen door on the front, and it was made out of wood and screen, and it had metal springs on it. And then there was a big front porch, and there was a big like a picture window in front. And I was standing there as a real small girl, and I was standing in front of the window, and I saw the Sasquatch start to walk up from the tree line, which was pretty close to the house. And it walked up the steps and onto the porch, and it opened the door, and it had to duck down to get through the door. And it walked up to me. And it frightened me so much, like right away, instinctively. I'm a 5-year-old little girl, so I'm thinking, boogeyman, it's a monster. So I turn around and I just bolt. I take off running out the back door. And I remember I looked over in the kitchen to the right, and that's when I could see that hand pump, that water pump in the kitchen sink. And so I ran down the back steps into the yard, and I looked over to the right again, and I saw another one of those hand pump thingies actually in the yard. And so I ran across the backyard into this field, and the field it wasn't corn, it was like barley or hay or something kind of short because I could see over it. And then I'd go running through the field, and every time I would turn around to look behind me, the Sasquatch was just casually walking behind me, following me. And it was frightening. It terrified me for years and years. And I would have them really sporadically. I would have them about, I could have them 3 times a week, or I could have them 3 times a year, Mm-hmm. It really depended on what was going on in my life and how stressed out I was. And I didn't really make the connection to that until I was much older. But yeah, so when I was really stressed out, I seemed to have more of the dreams. And we thought, well, maybe we theorized that maybe it was just because I was having the dreams because I was stressed out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Do you think that it could possibly be, and this is just me thinking outside the box, this is your spirit guide?
Yeah. So that's the conclusion that we've come to now, is that he is my spirit guide. He has a name. His name is Chambia. I call him my Sasquatch daddy. And he has been my protector over all these years, and possibly even from a previous lifetime.
Wow.
Yeah.
So as you got older and you found out this did you continue with the dreams, or do you still have dreams now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when I turned 19, I remember I had a dream, and I was so stressed out. I was a teenager, and I come downstairs and I'm crying and I'm like gasping for air, and I'm just like, I can't deal with this anymore. I don't understand it. I don't know what's going on. I need help. So that's when my mom called my aunt, and she took me to her psychic friend, Nancy. And Nancy told me, she said, well, why don't you just, the next time you have a dream, confront him and tell him to stop scaring you. Be polite, and be nice about it, and just tell him to please stop scaring you. And so I did. It wasn't that night. It was the night before, I think, that I had another dream. And when he came in the front door, I beckoned him to me. I waved him to me with my hand. and he bent down and he got really close to my face. And I remember saying something along the lines of, please stop scaring me. You're scaring me, and like this just release of a really heavy breath. And so the dream ended. And then I had the dream again, maybe a few nights or a week or so later. But that time it was different. So this time, this dream that I had continued to have until I moved to Sweet Home was instead of him coming into the house, he stayed in the tree line, but he squatted behind this great big giant oak tree. And I could see his hand on the side of the tree, and he is just peeking his head out around the side, looking at me, just watching me,
Yeah.
And so I felt like then I was like, okay, this is okay. If this is how you want to do it, then that's fine. Just don't come in the house,
Right. Whenever you were a child, when you were 5 and you were having this experience, where were you living?
Mm-hmm.
Where were you living?
I lived all over the place.
Okay.
We kind of bounced around every year. We had a new place to live, It's just me and my mom and my little brother and my stepfather. So, but when I first started having the dreams, or the first dream that I remember was pretty cool, because the reason why I remember it is because it was 1978 and I lived in Michigan, and we had a really horrible snowstorm that year. We got like 8 feet of snow. And there was a truck full of my mom's friends that were out bombing around on the back roads, and they got stuck right in front of our house. And so they ended up having to stay the night, and they got snowed in, and they were at our house for 2 weeks. And while they were there, I remember having a dream. So that's how I correlate it to me being 5 years old. I could have had them before then. I don't know, but.
And I'm just, again, I'm thinking outside the box. You think this Sasquatch was beckoning you to go to Oregon?
Yeah, it's funny how things happen. And I've always been, people have always told me I made really bad choices. But I think if I hadn't made the choices that I made, I wouldn't be in Oregon right now.
Right.
So I feel like, yes, subconsciously, that's an absolute possibility that I had been, beckoned to come to Oregon.
Huh. I think this is what I think. I think that this Sasquatch really liked your energy for some reason, and he's drawn to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. That resonates with me. I've been talking to a friend of mine on the Sioux reservation up in Canada, or at Manitoba, I think, and he mentioned that as well. He said there's something about you that they wanted to connect to.
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah. I mean, I'm not the type of person to like brag myself up, and, I don't like putting myself in the spotlight, but I feel like there's a purpose for all this. And that's why I want to talk about it. And that's why I've been talking about it and kind of, making people aware, because I really truly believe that there's other people who also they've connected with, and they don't get it. They don't understand it yet.
I agree with you.
So maybe if they hear my story, then that's going to trigger something in them and be like, oh my God, I'm going through the same thing,
I love that.
Yeah, because how you saw it as a boogeyman, it's probably how they're still seeing it as a reoccurring nightmare that it doesn't even show them as a Bigfoot. It's probably just like a black entity. Like,
I know, Michelle, you've talked about this on another podcast. Some people get, the
PTSD.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they get that. And like, but I think you're on that same path. I mean, the thing, this thing is using you, not using you, but it's like a guide. You and him are a guide.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yes. I understand what you're trying to say. He's using me, as like a conduit
Yes.
to get through to other people, and which it makes so much sense because I learned how to do Reiki, and when I learned Reiki, it's so essentially it's the same thing. You're using energy and you're using your body as a conduit. And I also do mediumship. I've been experiencing that since I was 15. Same thing. You're using your body and your mind as a conduit for other people, other things to flow through,
Now, I'm going to ask you this question too. Have you experienced paranormal stuff too?
Have I experienced paranormal stuff?
Yes.
Is that what you said? Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
we find that common with a lot of people that we've talked to that experience Bigfoot stuff. They also, the people who have reoccurring Bigfoot incidents, they have paranormal stuff too. Mm-hmm. And it's always, I was talking to you off show about this, about energy, about electrical right-of-ways and gas right-of-ways. And I was talking about a K2 meter with you. And, but anyway, but yeah, that's pretty
paranormal stuff.
Yeah. Stephen, you have any questions?
No, I think, like she hit it right, both of y'all hit it right in the nose. I think, cause I was thinking the whole time, I go, it's attached to her. I go, wait, that's a negative way of saying it when something is attached to you. I think, like she said, conduit. I was thinking linked, like they're linked or in sync,
or the veil between them is very thin.
Yes,
so.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's linked to you, and it's nothing negative. It's nothing malicious or anything like that. It's just hey, you see me, I see you. I like you. You like me. We're okay. We're good.
Now, Michelle, this is going to lead me to another question. Because since you were having all these experiences with dreams and growing up, and then you moved to Sweet Home. So, tell us if you've had any experiences in the field.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like once I got to Sweet Home, I needed a hobby, and I thought, I'm in Oregon. I need to, first of all, be outside, right? Because it's beautiful. And I really thought, this is the perfect place. If I want to find Sasquatch, I could probably find him here. So I went down to the ranger station, and I got a map of the area of all the old logging trails and like all the off-road trails and stuff. And I just started learning them. And I started, driving around through the forest. And right away, it was, let me think, it wasn't the first year. It was last summer, actually. So I started my Sasquatch group 2 years ago. And the reason why I did it was because I had Bigfoot stickers all over my car. And I would go to the grocery store, for instance, and I would come out of the grocery store, and there would be a man or somebody standing at my car waiting for me to come out so they could tell me their Bigfoot story. And these are locals. And they were flagging me down, they were following me, like just wanting to tell me their stories. So I started the group, the Facebook group, and it's a private group, and it was just for locals to begin with. And it was a place for them to talk because I could tell right away that they wanted to talk, but they didn't have anybody to talk to, and they didn't know how to reach out to people,
Yeah.
So I started that. And when I did that, then I, really started hitting the trails pretty hard. And the first year I had the group, me and a couple other people had a camp up at Mount St. Helens in Washington. And it was just because it was convenient for everybody else. It wasn't really super convenient for me, but it was convenient for them. So I would drive up there. But that was when I had my first experience, and that was rock clapping. It was really cool. It was like we woke up at like 5 o'clock in the morning to have coffee, and we were next to a creek there. And there was like a sheer 30-foot cliff from just outside our camp to the creek. And we started hearing rocks clap, and it wasn't like small rocks clapping together. They were like big rocks clapping together. And we listened to it for about 15 minutes. And finally, we were like, should we get up and go see, what's going on down there? And the minute we both stood up, it stopped and it never started back up again. And I thought, that's pretty interesting,
You know what I find very interesting is that I've experienced that too, and I'll make this really quick because I don't want to dwell on me, but there's a spot in Oklahoma called the Kiamichi Mountains, and it was a buddy of ours that had a cabin up there, and Steven and I went up there to go spend the night because we knew there was Bigfoot stuff up there, and in the middle of the night I got up to use the restroom, and this gentleman had an outhouse, so I go outside to go to the house. It's probably like 3 or 4 in the morning, and I could hear, because there's big boulders out there. I can hear somebody with a rock pounding on a boulder, and it was like maybe like 100 yards from a cliff, and it was like 100-foot drop, and they were banging this rock on this boulder maybe 100 yards away, and I could hear it, and it was loud, and I yelled really loud. I go, I hear you, and it would stop for like 15 seconds, and then it would continue again. And so when you said that about the rock claps off a sheer cliff, I go, that hit home with me just right now. I go, oh my God. I go, he was making a long distance phone call. So,
right.
But anyway, I just wanted to touch on that really quick, and you can go ahead and continue. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's how I felt. I felt like they intentionally did that to get our attention. And the minute they knew they had our attention, they were like, boop, they were gone.
Yeah.
So that happened. And then at the end of that year, that season, one of my research partners got rushed out of there. He was by himself, but he ended up having like 5 Sasquatch surrounding camp, throwing big branches and twigs into camp at him, not on him. They didn't hit him or his tent, but they were throwing him into camp like, okay, you've been here all summer. It's time for you to go.
Yeah.
And so I thought about it again, super analytical brain here. I'm thinking, why were they trying to get him to leave? And I realized it was about a week before bow season started, hunting season.
Right. Okay.
So, that just, to me, I was like, okay, that makes sense. They're hurry up. Okay. It's time for you to go now. Yeah.
They were probably trying to scavenge as much as they could in that area. And he was in their way.
Yep.
Yeah, that, and they knew too, I think, that the hunters were coming in, because we went back a couple weeks later and found a hunting camp there. Somebody had made a hunting camp.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we were like, yeah, okay, we got it. But so fast forward to last spring, I was out exploring with my friends, and I had taken one of my girlfriends up to this really beautiful spot that this logger had told me about, where there had been some logger sightings up there. And it was gorgeous. It was like this beautiful asphalt old logging trail, and it had this really beautiful green moss growing all over it. It was flat. It was like there weren't any marks in it. It wasn't dug up. It was just flat and green, and it was just like a beautiful sea of green, And so we took some pictures, and then we talked about it. And a week later, I took one of my other friends up there. We were out looking around, and I said, oh, I got to show you this spot. It's really beautiful. And so we drove down there, and there's concrete barriers that block this area off so that people can't drive on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we get down there, and we're looking at it, and we're like, it looks like something like walked across it or something. And he said, wait here and I'll go check it out. And he got out of the car and he walked over there and he starts walking down the trail and he just looks up at me and he waved his hand like, you need to come out here and see this. I got out of the car and I started walking up there, and the first thing I seen was an 18-inch print in the moss. It was a big, beautiful Bigfoot print in the moss. So, and I continued to walk and I'm seeing there's prints everywhere and they're 4 different sizes. And I was just like, I literally cried because I was so overwhelmed with happiness. You know, it like that was proof to me that I was on to them, you know, like I found you and I'm going to have an experience with you. Like I'm going to manifest this. This is going to happen. Okay. You know? So yeah, so we found this beautiful pathway and there was elk prints too and other stuff. And it was really cool. So we decided to make that like our main research area.
Just for people who don't know, Michelle, I just wanted to point this out. For our listeners who don't know, whenever you're talking about moss and stuff, it takes a heavy animal to leave an impression on the moss, correct?
Yes, it does. Because it didn't even leave an impression. It actually kind of tore it up.
Wow.
You know, pushed it off to the sides. You could see where it had stood and pushed all the moss off to the sides so the asphalt was bare underneath.
Wow, that's pretty heavy.
Uh-huh.
That's super heavy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just wanted to point that out. So
yeah. No, thank you for that. That's a good point. So we were out there. I had a couple of experiences right away where I had thought I'd seen something and I was pretty sure I did. But at the same time, I was like, no, this couldn't be because this is kind of paranormal. You know, it was different. It wasn't your typical, you know, flesh and blood kind of sighting. You know, one of them, I saw the back of one and then I had to stop my car and I had to back up a little bit. And when I did that, I saw it again, but already it was like 30 feet away, 30 or 40 feet away. And then I reached down to grab my phone and I was telling my friend that was with me, I was like, look, can you see this? And she's like, no. And I go back to take a picture and it had already moved another 40 feet. And this is like really thick berry bushes and ferns and broken trees. It's not something a human would easily be able to walk through. So he had to have the Sasquatch. It was very obviously a Sasquatch. He had to have like jumped through it or time warped, not time warped, what do they call it? Time lapse. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was like boom, boom, and then boom, and then it was gone. So that kind of, it struck me because it wasn't, I felt like, okay, I know what I saw, but it's not good enough, kind of.
Right.
Like I need something more solid, you know? So we were up there maybe about a month later, and I had my second paranormal sighting. So, but this time it was out in the open, and it was at a kind of like a camping site on a ridge, and I had 2 other females with me, and it just, it appeared from out of nowhere, from the feet up. It just kind of fizzled into visibility. And then, so I stopped my car and I started hyperventilating because it was in front of me. It was beautiful. I could see its fur. I could see its fingers. But then just as quickly, it disappeared. And when it disappeared, it kind of fizzled and it went down into an orb, like a blue orb. And then the orb popped kind of almost like a balloon or something. And when it did that, it was like sparkles everywhere. So I thought, wow, that's really pretty, you know?
Do you think this is the Sasquatch that you've been dreaming about?
Yeah. Yes. Actually, it was. And how I know is because when I was driving home, I dropped off the ladies that I was with, and I was by myself, and I'm in the car, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, what's going on? Why? What is this? Why is it doing this to me? Because this is paranormal. This isn't what I want. I want something solid, something tangible, you know? And so I said out loud, I said, "Who are you?" And instantly, just like somebody drove a nail through my head. It was like, "I'm your Sasquatch daddy." That's not what he said, but he said,
Right.
he said, "I'm the one that you've been dreaming about your whole life. I've been protecting you." And so I was like, okay, I can accept that, you know, like that it's beginning to make more sense. So that when he said that to me, it was kind of like validation that my dreams meant something.
So you were by yourself whenever you saw this, or was somebody with you?
No, I had 2 women with me, but I was the only one that saw it.
Yeah.
They did not see it. And I was the whole time, I'm just like, look in front of you, you know, nothing. They didn't see a thing.
Now, I know I'm going to ask this question. Were you around any electrical or gas right-of-ways, or, you know?
No. Okay. No, it was in the wilderness, actually in a area where it's protected. There's no foraging, no fishing, no hunting.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Steven, you got anything?
Just it's an interesting way to say hello.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Well, I try to make it make sense, you know? And that was how I made it make sense, was like, okay, right away, we're going to give you validation of your dreams.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is why, and this is what we have for you, you know?
maybe is his way of like not discouraging you, and you know, pop up, say hi, and then go, and that way you don't think like you've been out there just researching and not seeing anything and
not doing.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it totally makes sense. So, fast forward so I have these meetings every month. They're like town hall meetings here in Sweet Home. And we had a meeting, it was July 26th. And usually the weekends of our meetings, I get the whole research group, which I usually have about 4 or 5 research partners. And we get together and we have a camp out. So it was July 26th, and we were up at the mountain. We were at the campsite. Now, the campsite, I decided, was going to be close to where I had the second sighting, because I felt like if he showed himself to me there, then it must be an okay place for me to camp. Right? That's how I felt. I just felt like, okay, this is the place. So that's where we camp. And so we went up to camp that night, and it was really quiet. There wasn't anything, I wasn't getting any feelings. And I really do. I work a lot on my intuition, you know, and how I'm feeling. And I wasn't feeling anything. And so I was just like, I'm literally 45 minutes away from my bed. I'm just going to go home and sleep in my own bed tonight, you know? And I told my research partner, and he had his fiance out there with us. So I said, I'll be back at 6:00 in the morning. I'm just going to go home and sleep in my bed, you know? And they're like, okay, cool. So I remember it was really kind of weird how it happened. For some reason, I never do this. It's really out of character for me. I decided that I was going to race down the mountain and time myself and see how fast I could get down the mountain. Usually it takes me about 15 minutes. And that night it took me 7.5 minutes. So I was going pretty fast, and it was about 10 o'clock at night. So And I don't like to admit that because that's, it's not something I'm proud of. So it's actually very dangerous. So I'm driving down the main road on my way home, and it was about 10:30, I think 10:32 or 10:28, 10:32. I can't remember. It was in that time frame. And I come around a bend in the road, and 50 feet in front of me is what looks like two sets of what looked like to me bicycle reflectors. And so instantly I knew right away that this is not something that's normally here. I drive this road hundreds of times. I've never seen this before. I'm going to stop. So I stopped my car. I turned off my headlights, left my fog lights on, and I just kind of stared at them for a minute to kind of get my bearings. Okay, what is this? And so on the right-hand side of the road, which would have been the passenger side, about 6 feet up the side of a tree, were two, looked like red bicycle reflectors, and they were facing towards me. And then I looked down on the other side of the road, and they were just maybe 6 inches or so off the road, maybe 8 inches off the road. I saw another set that were kind of looking towards me. And I was like, okay, this is really odd. So I just started to creep closer to them. And the closer I got, the more I started thinking, okay, these are not bicycle reflectors, I thought, well, maybe they're owls. And then I was like, no, they're not owls. All right, steampunk glasses, and then I thought, no, not steampunk glasses. I got closer and closer to them, and I started to realize that they weren't perfectly round. They were shaped like eggs, and they were emitting a red light, like a red glow. And instantly I just thought, my God, these are Sasquatches. They have to be. This is the red glowing eyes that I've heard about, that I've read about, And so I got closer and closer, and then I started noticing body language. So the one on the right next to the tree, it would look at me, and then it would look at the one across the road, and then it would look behind her. And then it'd look at him, and it'd look at me, and it just kept doing that. It had these real kind of slow, smooth kind of movement to it, like it was just checking out its surroundings, keeping it just well aware of everything that was going on. And then the one on the left-hand side of the road that was real close to the road was looking at her, and it would look at my car. It would look at her and look at my car. And I was like, I started getting a feeling like I felt like a feminine kind of energy from this one. And then I started feeling like this masculine kind of leader of the pack quality about this one on the right. And so I got closer and closer. And the closer I got, I could start to see their eyes, and like that they were eyes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was a cavity. That glow was coming from the cavity in their skull, So I studied them. I watched them. It seemed like a really long time. It probably wasn't nearly as long as I thought it was, but I just really tried to take my time with it and experience it and just, take it in for what it was. And so I was creeping very slowly, probably about 3 miles an hour, 3 or 4 miles an hour. And as I started getting closer to them, right in between them, because they're right across the road from each other, the one on the left looked up at me, up at my face. He locked eyes with me, and that was it. from that moment on, he did not take his eyes off me. And I was just well aware of that.
Right.
I didn't challenge him. I didn't give him a reason to think that I was intimidated by him. I didn't give him a reason to think that I was afraid. I just, okay. And I was really graceful about it. And I looked back up at her and I couldn't see her anymore because my car was too far forward and she was really tall,
Yeah.
So I looked back at him, and as I'm driving between them, what light I did have on my car, it kind of lit him up, and I could see this massive back. So basically what was going on was he was hunched over the road, and his chin must have been either resting on the side of the road or almost touching it. But when I went past his back, the fur on his back kind of rippled and it glowed and it kind of sparkled all at once. And it was this, I've never seen anything like it before. And I've never seen anything like it again. It was just like, to me, I kind of felt like it was magic. It was like he was cloaking or trying to cloak or coming out of a cloak, it was somewhere in the process. So I saw that and instantly I was just like, oh, wow.
Was he laying down? Was he on all fours or?
Right. So, well, when I got past them, I looked in my rearview mirror and I could see that they weren't there anymore. Like I couldn't see their eyes or anything. So I went home. I woke up the next morning. I went home. I literally put on my pajamas, went to bed. I thought a little bit about it and I was like, okay, I got to go to sleep. I'm just going to process this another time because I was really overwhelmed. So I came back the next morning and I stopped and looked, and where he was a ditch that was about 4.5 feet deep. And it was really wide. It's like 6 feet wide or something. And so when I look at it, I imagine him kind of squatting in it and bending over.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense now. So.
Yeah, because I could see his back, Yeah. So, and then I looked over on the other side of the road where the other one was standing behind the tree. And there's like a 2-foot deep ditch there. And I actually took one of my friends back there and we found a big giant print, but it's in like really soft, like mulchy kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But we figured that this creature was 7 to 8 feet tall.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
The question I have for you on this one was, do you think that this was your spirit guide putting these Sasquatch there to tell you to slow down? So
that, I never thought about it that way, but it could, that's a possibility. I'm not going to, cross it off the list.
Okay. I just thought, I don't know if it was actual the spirit guide or he guided these Sasquatch there for you to slow down and stop.
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. That could be, or for some reason, did I have an instinctual feeling to hurry up and get down there and catch them doing what they were doing?
Right.
They were obviously they were crossing the road.
Yeah.
Right. So had I not sped down that hill, I wouldn't have seen them cross the road.
Good point.
That is a good point.
Good.
Right.
I didn't even think of that part at least.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was my that was the encounter that I had that finally it validated everything. It was what I wanted. I asked for it.
Right.
That's what I wanted. I wanted something that was tangible. Like I was literally 10 feet away from it. I could have touched either of them if I wanted. I could have stopped my car, opened my door, and I could have walked over there and touched it.
Right. I love the fact that you were telling me that, even though you probably couldn't see them all the way, but you had the energy of one of them was a female, one of them was a male.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. And it was like, it was just, it was instinctual. The female, to me, she was looking behind her because she had what I thought would probably be a child behind her.
Mm-hmm.
And the way she moved was so slow. It was so fluid. It was feminine. And him, the way that he looked at me and he locked eyes with me, I felt that masculine energy,
Mm-hmm.
And plus he kept looking at her like he was speaking to her with his mind, like, don't cross the road, stay where you're at.
Right.
Keep the kids quiet,
I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So did you go back up to the area and tell the gang, hey, this is what I saw. Let's go look over here.
I did. Yeah, it was funny because I went up there and I remember Eric was standing there and he's making me a cup of coffee. And I was like, so I saw something last night. And he's like, oh, really? What was it? And I said, oh, no, yet. I'm kind of still processing it. And I kind of described what it kind of looked like, the red eyes. And I said, I don't know yet. And he's like, okay. So it took a while for me to express what I had seen and what I was feeling,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I mean,
that's normal.
Yeah. I try to be, very conscious of what I say and how I say it, I'm especially to people or, like on a podcast or something. And when I speak to my friends and family too, I try to be that way. So it's like, I don't know if it's partially my personality and also the fact I don't want to disrespect the Sasquatch, and so that's always in my mind too, is like, how am I going to talk about this and how scary it was for me without making them seem like big, hairy, crazy monsters.
Yeah, the bad guys. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah,
I can see why it's overwhelming because you're like, I want to get this experience, and then you finally see it, and you're like, your mind is still trying to process. Did I just really see that constantly?
Yeah.
And
it's life changing.
You're trying to downplay it. Yeah, you're trying to, okay, maybe it was bears, maybe it was something, maybe it was people, maybe it was this, maybe it was all like, and it's just, it's mentally exhausting too.
Yeah. And, you know, and then you get people that want to see it as opposed to people who never plan to see it and they see it and then they're terrified.
Yep.
So,
absolutely.
Yeah. Like who, Peter Byrne.
Uh-huh.
He spent his whole life researching Sasquatch and never saw one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I mean, I feel bad about that. I've had 3 visual experiences and a few other experiences in the dark that were pretty substantial, Yeah. And then here's somebody who's been looking for it his whole life and, unfortunately it never came to him.
Yeah, that is kind of sad, but
it's just, you have to be the right ingredient and you have to be there at the right place at the right time. That's the thing. Wouldn't you agree on that?
Oh yeah.
Like what I mean is that you're the right ingredient, meaning like you're
the right energy.
You're like the right energy. Yeah. You're the right antenna. You're just right there at the right moment. Some people are lucky to see it whenever they want, but others, like you said, it's sad. Like they spent their whole lives looking for it and they never find it. They never get that closure. It's real sad, like you said.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, on that. It really is.
I totally agree on that.
Michelle, I wanted to talk a little bit about because we're getting close to getting off here. I wanted to talk a little bit about Dream Guardian, Sasquatch Path Awakenings.
Yeah.
That's a book that you read. It's already finished?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wrote it. I wrote it this January. It's kind of a funny story. I heard through the grapevine that somebody was writing stories about people and their Bigfoot dreams. And so right away I was like, I'm going to write it before somebody else writes it for me.
Yeah, I like that.
It literally, it took me 24 hours to write. And
I'm
72 hours to publish.
Wow.
And I was in a hurry. I'm telling you, you can't tell me I can't do something, because when I feel like, something needs to be done, I'm going to get it done. So,
Right.
But you can tell it was a rushed project. However, I did, I've been putting a lot of thought into it, and how I was going to do it. It was just a matter of time. So, and then the right time, or I shouldn't say the right time came along, but the time came along where I was like, okay, it's now or never. So I have to hurry up and get this out. Yeah.
Wow.
But it's about my dream, and like up to now, what it's meant to me and how it's connected.
Yeah, I think that's good, because whoever reads this book is, who may be having the same experience may want to, because, hey, I'm having the same experience. I'm having these dreams, and that's good though. I'm proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm proud of me too. I appreciate that. I really do, because it means a lot. And, I'm just at a point in my life now to where I'm so happy, and I feel so blessed to finally know, what it's about, and to make myself available to people who are going through this and, don't understand it, to be that person that they could reach out to, is really, I just want to help people.
Right.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that about you, because I've gone through the same thing. I used to be a part of a Bigfoot group, and they wanted to prove it existed. And I grew out of that, and I just wanted to, I just want to help people. So anybody that's like that, I kind of gravitate to, and I really, really like that about you. So
thank you. Yeah, it's just been always been a personal journey for me. And then there's always been a reason to get other people involved, like starting the group so people had somewhere to talk, writing the book so people had somebody who they could relate to. Like it's all connected. There's meaning behind it all. It's not but the last thing from my mind. I mean, I'm the furthest away from having to prove anything to anybody, because that's not what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm going to put, as soon as we're done here, I'm going to put in the show notes, like your Amazon link. And
thank you.
Is it okay to put your groups on there? Because I know you have you have two groups or one group?
No, I have one group. Yep.
Okay, it's the Sweet Home Sasquatch.
Sweet Home Sasquatch.
Okay,
Sweet Home Sasquatch.
I just joined that, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
She knows.
I just joined it. So
you just joined? I thought you were already in it.
No.
What?
No.
Shoot. Okay.
I think I just joined it right now. So right before.
Okay. Well,
just
I'll
before.
approve it.
Yeah. Just before it came on, I applied for it. So.
Oh, okay.
I hope.
Yeah, it's quite a process, isn't it? You'll be vetted, Rob.
I sure hope I get the job. No, I'm just kidding.
We'll call you.
Yeah.
Don't call us.
Man, Michelle, thank you so much for coming on. Is there other than the book that's coming out, are you going to be at any Bigfoot conferences? Is there anywhere our listeners need to look out for you anywhere?
Yes, actually. So I don't even know if I can say this yet. When does this come out?
I'm going to try to put it out tonight or tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Well, I may or may not be speaking at the Glide Sasquatch Festival.
Okay.
And and that is June 20th in Glide, of course. And then also we're going to be at Sasquatch Summerfest this summer in Oak Ridge.
Okay.
And that is July 11th and 12th.
Make sure you send that to me, and I will post it on our page, because we got a pretty good following on the page. So
awesome. I will.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yes.
We're getting ready to close it out here, but stay on, okay? So
okay. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me
No
on.
problem.
By the way.
We had a great time.
Yes.
So just want to say good night and goodbye. Bang.
Bang.
If you are listening to us for the first time, thank you for joining us. If you are a regular listener, double thank you for your continued support. We appreciate every one of you, and your engagement means the world to us. To help us keep providing quality content, please take a moment to subscribe, comment, like, follow, and give us a 5-star review. Your feedback truly helps us improve and grow. If you have any stories you'd like to share, or any concerns you'd like to discuss, we would love to hear from you. Please email us at bigfootclub1@gmail.com